So I've been on this YouTube scene related to CinemaSins for quite a while now, and one thing I've really noticed in regards to channels that just sort of clone the CinemaSins format is that the word parody gets thrown around quite a lot.
This is just a parody!
The following is a parody of CinemaSins.
The following is a fan-based parody.
And while I have nothing against those channels, I think they're fine. It's not like CinemaSins owns the idea of putting something in a list. They're not parodies! I'm pretty sure you're just using the word parody to try and get rid of some criticism. Which actually, ironically, would be a great way to parody CinemaSins, since they throw around the word satire so much to try and just sweep criticism under the rug. But today what I'm going to do is an actual CinemaSins parody. I'm going to try and invoke some of their tropes and mistakes they make regularly to try and poke fun at them. You know, actually a parody. Huh? What? Okay, thanks for telling me. This phone that I'm using as a narrative device just told me that the Birdman released an incredibly similar video to this just a couple of days ago. That's such great. I promise I came up with this idea before that. I tweeted about it and everything. I promise, this is a completely original idea of my own. It's never been done before. Unless you count the time that Sean did it. 10 seconds of logos. I mean, come on, who in their right mind would want to see the same exact boring thing at the start of every single thing they watch? Repetitiveness is just the worst, isn't it? Reading. Also, it's a lawless time? F***ing what? There have got to be at least some laws, right? I mean, it says right there that there are crime syndicates, but how can there be crime if there are no laws to break? God, we're 15 seconds into this movie and it already makes no goddamn sense. Also, fuel in Star Wars? Ah! That actually is basically what his Last Jedi video was. Also, discount title crawl. This scene is a dick to anyone who actually wants to see what's going on. Wait a second, you're making a super big thing out of the dice? The dice? Now I could explain to you why that's actually a problem, but instead I'm going to use the time I could be doing that to just complain about them every time they appear on screen.
Hurry up! You're late!
Character calls another character late when they're late for something, cliché.
I think she's going to give that extra portion to me.
Movie rips off the stealing stuff in exchange for portions character motivation from The Force Awakens. Okay, so Lady Proxima looks cool and all, but why is her entire hideout dark and blue? Sure, it looks cool, but the movie never makes any attempt to give any kind of explanation for this.
Kira, remember the silo? We pulled you out of that horror, gave you a home.
Hey, how can we get Kira's backstory in here? I know, let's just have a big exposition dump where Lady Proxima tells Kira things that they both already know. Brilliant! Okay, sure, Lady Proxima is allergic to sunlight, and that's why it's so dark in her hideout. But then why would she have windows so thin that they'll break after being hit by a rock? Also, what was she even doing in that pool of water? Why would the movie show me a small detail and then not explain it to me explicitly?
Get in!
Convenient speeder is convenient, ex machina. You see, the thing about this one is that that's actually the speeder Han used to get here in the first place, but I'm not showing you that clip, I'm just hoping you haven't seen the film recently enough to remember that.
There's a Starliner leaving from Coronet Spaceport. We're gonna be on it.
Because of course there just happens to be a Starliner leaving as soon as Han wants to leave the planet. They may as well have called this movie Plot Conveniences, a Star Wars story.
You won't have to take orders or be kicked around by anyone.
Speeder ramming irony. Speedmony? Ramrony? This stormtrooper just happens to be in the exact place he needs to be to spot this chase.
Oh, no, I'm telling you it's too tight!
Haha, sex.
Watch this!
Character thinks they're going to succeed but then fails, cliché. Looks like these guys took shooting lessons from stormtroopers, am I right? Hey, have you ever heard that joke that stormtroopers are bad at aiming? Would you like to hear that same joke 500 more times?
Do not join the line if you don't have a boarding pass.
Why would anyone join the line if they didn't have a boarding pass? That's a super obvious instruction, and I've never heard anyone give an obvious instruction in real life. That never happens. Wait, what did this guy even do wrong? This is never explained.
Wherever we go, it can't be worse than where we've been.
Yes, it can. Out there, we've got no protection.
No protection? Not even a morning after pill? You see, the joke is that protection is a word that can sometimes be used in, to refer to the sex. And again with these fucking dice, nobody cares.
ID chips.
Funny thing, we don't have them.
And that's it. The movie should end right here. But then even without their ID chips, Han still manages to get through. Somehow. Oh, also, by the way, I'm going to pretend that all of the, glitching on the movie is me parodying CinemaSins, because sometimes their footage does glitch, and I'm going to pretend that it's not just that I can't figure out how to make that not happen. I'm on a tight schedule, leave me alone. I'm sorry. Dude, why? You've been spending your entire life trying to get off this planet, and now that you've finally done that, you're just going to come back? The logical decision would be to leave, but I guess the power of Han boners is stronger. Hey, the fact that I never empathize with romance and always just simplify it down to being sex isn't something to be concerned about, right? Discount R2-D2.
Solo.
Ah! A daring decision!
We'll have you flying in no time.
Get it? Because he thought he'd be flying a ship, but actually he's flying from an explosion? That's flyronic.
Just over that last ridge! Victory is...
More irony. Explode-rony? Later we find out that Kylo Ren looking raider chick is actually going to start the rebellion. So if there's no rebellion yet, who is the Empire fighting here? I can't imagine anyone wanting to fight against an oppressive regime if the rebels don't exist. Battle! Lasers! Ship!
I'm Han. Nobody cares.
Beckett would be excellent at CinemaSins. Don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but the universe can be so dumb sometimes. They've got all this amazing technology, lasers, lightsabers, the Force, but everything is still super dilapidated. Like, surely in a world where technology exists, there shouldn't be any problems, right? By the way, to anyone thinking that CinemaSins wouldn't say anything like this, my writing process on this one has generally been to take actual things that CinemaSins have said and just emphasize them a little bit until it's obvious why they're silly. For example, this one is an exaggerated version of something he said in his Blade Runner video.
This is a future where street vendors can analyze flesh samples and tell you if they're fish or not, but also still has randos herding f***ing ostriches through the alleys. It's super advanced and super dilapidated, all at the same time.
You see, he there is saying the same thing that I just said, but he's phrased it in a way that doesn't make it sound as silly.
Feed him to the beast. The beast? Wait, there's a beast?
Of course there is, because it wouldn't be a Star Wars movie without a giant beast. Wow, the scene is so suspenseful. Unless you've seen the original trilogy and know that Han can't possibly die here. Because, you know, in any other movie that wasn't a prequel, killing off the main character halfway through the first act would be a completely reasonable thing to expect.
Yes.
He survives this.
You tired, you mangy Kashyyykian moof milker?
What's a moof milker? This is never explained. And of course these two guards just happen to be standing on the one panel that Han and Chewie can knock down, because everyone in this movie said f*** logic, f*** smart decisions, and f*** doing things that actually make sense.
See what happens when you listen to me? Hey, what are you doing?
Chewie throws Han out of the pit. Hilarious! But where did those guards go? Weren't they standing right here just a second ago? By the way, if anyone wants to call me out for being wrong about that, it's a joke. Because that's what being funny is. It's making minor mistakes.
I have some very good friends waiting for me at that airfield. They're leaving right now.
Very good friends? What? Didn't you meet them just like half an hour ago? This relationship is moving faster than my college girlfriend moved away from me when she found out the kind of person I am. This is Rio, and he's from the planet Audrina, which the movie is going to make you do research to find out for yourself.
You will never have a deeper sleep than curled up in a Wookiee's lap.
Scene does not include a Wookiee lap dance. What was that? He's not doing those ones anymore. Well, that's good at least. That joke was definitely, I'll say, wearing thin.
We couldn't have done this maybe like one at a time?
Hilarious, but is there any reason Chewie wouldn't understand personal boundaries like this? Have we ever seen any evidence of Chewie not getting stuff like this in the other movies? It seems to me like the movie just wanted to make a cheap joke here without actually thinking about what any of the characters would actually do, something that's actually a really bad thing to do. Cheap jokes that ignore logic are just the worst, just f*** them. I mean, it's also not like Chewie is from a planet where everyone is naked all the time, meaning that not understanding this boundary is a completely believable cultural difference, but f*** it, I guess. Oh, and that goes for you too, Mauler.
Which is fitting, since we are then treated to a showering scene where Han and Chewie get wet and stay about 1 inch away from each other. Why? Why was that your vision for Star Wars? Why did you look at Star Wars and say, you know what would bring this together? You know what's missing from these two guys? A scene where they shower together.
I mean, I get that's not exactly the criticism you're making, but I still quite like that joke. I think it's funny, I think it fits the tone of the scene, and I think it makes logical sense. And what more can you ask for on a joke? I personally bet that if you put this same joke in a movie that everybody loves, very few people would be criticizing it in the same way. Hang on, fuck, I've broken character. I need to go back to being CinemaSins again. Hang on. Prometheus, Ex Machina, Boner, Cliché, Lap Dance. Okay, I'm there. And because no one working on this movie had any original ideas of their own, here's another f***ing snow planet, in case you don't remember half. Also, movie reminds me of President Snow from The Hunger Games, a movie franchise I definitely didn't need to be reminded of. Chewbacca is from the planet Kashyyyk, which is spelled with 3 consecutive Y's. Because Kashyyyk just wanted to be different, I guess.
Plus, have you ever tried to disinvite a Wookiee to anything? Not a good idea.
That's racist.
How do you know she'll still be there? I just know.
But she isn't still there and Han doesn't end up going back. So Han is wrong. Is this something I genuinely think is a problem with the movie, or is it a joke? Both options seem equally infeasible, yet here we are. We interrupt your Star Wars anthology movie to bring you the first great train robbery.
No action! Enough to power a fleet!
Wow, it sure is convenient that they just happen to find the exact thing they're looking for.
Enough to power a fleet! Or blow us all straight to hell!
Seriously? Ships in this universe just happen to use a fuel that's also highly explosive? Wow, how convenient for the plot. Also Calaxium explosion shadowing. Hey, remember last time I joked about Stormtroopers having bad aim? Well, someone just missed a shot, which means you're about to hear that again. Stormtroopers have bad aim. Ha!
Thinking about opening a cantina somewhere warm, but not too warm, you know?
You mean like Tatooine?
Pirates!
Wow, and now a Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff. I mean, we're already ripping off Star Wars, The Hunger Games, The Great Train Robbery, Empire Strikes Back, Yogi Bear, because Chewbacca kind of looks like a bear, and Return of the Jedi in this thing, so I guess we may as well rip off Pirates of the Caribbean too. You know, I've just remembered that a lot of the time in CinemaSins videos, Jeremy just picks out something completely random to hate on for no apparent reason. It'll normally just be like a minute detail so that he doesn't piss off people who actually like the thing, and then every time that thing shows up, he'll just hate on it. So let's do one of them. Why does this pirate chick have horns? Is she the devil? Is she a Viking? Goddamn, this is just silly. How am I supposed to believe there's any kind of conflict in a world where you have magnetic boots? Being able to stick to things that are metal should mean the end of war. Just like having a tent that's bigger on the inside.
Unbelievably convenient spell makes one wonder why there are such things as conflicts in the magic world.
Discount sparkly stick thingy that General Grievous's guards used to have. I mean, seriously, is it not enough to rip off the original trilogy? Now you've got to rip off the prequels as well?
I was right.
Yep.
Silent no. In other words, you know, just not saying no. I didn't even emphasize that one to make it silly. He's genuinely said that one before. Non-silent no. I know I've already said it once, but the Calaxium being explosive is beyond convenient. I mean, imagine filling a vehicle with something that could explode. Do you have any idea how dangerous that would be? Also, the Calaxium being explosive is definitely just a plot contrivance. Also, it's pretty convenient that the Calaxium just happens to be explosive, huh? That way our movie gets to have a plot. Dude, I know you're pissed off because your girlfriend literally just died, but this is not a logical way to react to that. Also, this scene is a complete copy of the scene earlier when Chewie punched Han. Now the movie is even ripping off itself, I guess. It's also ripping off Monsters Inc. because Chewie is hairy like Sully.
You have any idea what you've done? We were not stealing for ourselves. We were hired by Crimson Dawn.
Wow, this guy got over the death of his girlfriend super quickly. I mean, what's it been, like 3 minutes? And he's already talking about, like, deals and stuff. This thing is weird.
Put this in my office. I might be needing it later.
Knife shadowing.
These people are not your friends. They're never gonna be, so don't talk to any of them.
Except we later learn that Kira is here, so one of the people here is Han's friend. So this is irony. Kirani? Ira friend? Kiri friendrony? Ah! And it's at this point that it starts to slowly dawn on you. This video's almost over and he's nowhere near the end of the movie. This is a part 1! I couldn't help it, I'm sorry. I also couldn't help announcing this in the exact same way that CinemaSins announced this for his Infinity War Part 1 video. And it's at this point that it starts to slowly dawn on you. This video's almost over and he's nowhere near the end of the movie. This is a part 1! I couldn't help it, I'm sorry. So I'll be back either on Sunday or next Wednesday, I haven't decided yet, to bring you part 2 of this. It's also been really fun to make, so expect more videos like this in the future, although don't expect them too often because I could imagine it would get really repetitive after a while. I'm thinking of doing them maybe once, twice a year. Other than that, I hope you have enjoyed this. Bonus points to you if you managed to spot all of the YouTubers I included clips from or name dropped in this video. There are quite a few in there. Other than that, regardless of whether or not it's part 2 of this, I'll see you on Sunday for a Sunday video. A goodbye.